Good morning. I have been in a non-stop battle with all my boomer parents and family members about this war. Have you been in any discussions with what's going on with the Trump administration and Tulsi Gabbard and Iran war? See, this is the clip I totally forgot to add from last night. I completely dismissed and forgot to add this portion from last night where Tulsi Gabbard is saying that Iran was not close to nuclear weapons just not too long ago. And I've been trying to figure out if they weren't close to nuclear weapons, I don't know who to believe anymore. Did Netanyahu have some secret information that he was withholding from the Trump administration until now? Because I don't know about you and me, but this attack on Iran was definitely coordinated and definitely premeditated and definitely took years, or if not many months, to get this attack ready before these drones decided to drop bombs all over their airplanes. And I'm happy to be here. So now we're not relying on our own DNI chief. We're no longer relying on our own intelligence community. We're relying on Israel. I don't know how your thoughts get excited when you hear that sort of information, because Donald Trump for the longest time ran on an anti-war policy. And the big pushback on that is that for many years, for like 20 years, we've been doing things to Iran back and forth for a very long time. And that makes it okay to now go to war like completely. And you're going to wait to see this text message between him, Donald Trump, and Senator now Israel guy that's at the embassy, Mike Huckabee, who I famously took pictures at one of his events. I took pictures at a Mike Huckabee event back in South Carolina, and when I was doing photography, and I had no idea it was an entire pro-Israel night. I heard things I've never heard in my life. Like America is a beacon on the hill, and America and Israel are besties no matter what. Morning, Yakobed. I like it when I go live on Rumble and I could see the chat on Rumble. What's up, Cityscape? What's up, Disco? The whole thing is very convoluted to me and very interesting because, I mean, we have old clips of Tulsi Gabbard. This was just, a few weeks ago. This was June 16th, 2024. No, this wasn't. This was a while ago. This was like 3 weeks ago. 3 months later in March. And here is Tulsi Gabbard saying exactly the thing that I've been confused about, the whole reason why we're even fighting them.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
Now, I agree with Disco Puss when he says that Iran has funded and organized terrorism and it has to stop once and for all. I understand that point of view. But for many of us, we don't actually want to go to war because we've heard the same rhetoric over and over again. They have weapons of mass destruction, and we need to do everything to stop them because they're funding terrorism across the world. And if we don't stop them, no one's going to actually stop them. And so you had Tulsi Gabbard saying, Iran doesn't actually have a nuclear program. They're not ready to build nuclear bombs. And that was just a few months ago. And then all of a sudden we got some new information from Israel saying that that's the complete opposite. And now we have to decide, do we focus on Israel to provide our intel, which that's one of the big things they're known for, is their intelligence community. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey. And so even Donald Trump is dismissing Tulsi Gabbard's report right here. Listen to what Donald Trump has to say. I think we're watching the end of Tulsi Gabbard. What are we going to do without my rogue? I need my rogue Marvel comic hero today. Here is Donald Trump right here.
Mr. President, you've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon. But how close do you personally
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having one. Is this the end of Tulsi Gabbard? So I pulled up an old tweet from Tulsi Gabbard from 2020, January 3rd, 2020. She goes on to say this. Now, this was a few years ago. And I quote, "We do not seek regime change," Trump declares as he escalates his regime change war against Iran. Neocons like Graham and Bolton are cheering. To all who voted for Trump because of his anti-war rhetoric, it's time to realize he lied to you. Stand with me against Trump's Iran war. And that was in 2020. Now, was this whole war fueled by Israel's desire to have peace in their region, ergo have besties all around them? You be the judge of that. This idea too, I love this idea that everyone knows exactly what's happening. You think in wartime propaganda, as it continues to heat up even more, that you have an idea of what's happening in that region? You think that somehow you escaped all this rhetoric and that you're the enlightened one. Look, I hope you come to my channel because I'm going to try to be as honest as I possibly can, and I'm going to try to come up with as much information as I possibly can and present it to you in some degree, because we're all idiots and we're all trying to figure this thing out together, and we're all working through it. I don't necessarily, I like people that have staunch opinions on this issue when it comes to war in the Middle East, but this idea that not everyone is susceptible to some sort of wartime propaganda in some degree, if it fits your bias and your narrative, your self-speaking narrative already in your brain, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. It's gotten to the point now where you just like pick a side. You're just like, I believe this, Israel bad or Israel good, or I don't care. I'm just trying to live my life. It's just funny. You're not going to walk to somebody on the street who's struggling today and be like, hey, what are your thoughts on the Israel-Iran war? And they're going to go, I didn't even know we were going to war. I didn't even know. I think the funniest thing too is when I was hanging out with my family members on vacation, they're not all of them are as involved in the news as I am. And so when I was watching this thing pop off, they were just like, oh, okay, does this mean anything to me? Is this going to stop me from getting my Nintendo Switch 2? Disco Puss is the enlightened one. I believe it. I believe it. Everybody else is wrong. You're right. That's why you call into the show, because we trust you. Now, the thing about Tulsi Gabbard, at least she is consistent, is that she is very anti-war. And that was always the hope with her being in front of the intelligence community. She would be able to curb some of this pro-war rhetoric. You can even have her not too long ago talking about the Ukrainian war, which sounds very familiar to what's happening today.
Really, there's two viable paths here. One is that this war continues on as it has for over 3 years. More and more Ukrainians will lose their lives. More and more of the country of Ukraine will be decimated and destroyed in this, what will continue to be essentially a war of attrition. And to what end? To what outcome? President Trump sees this reality. So the alternative to this, which he is so intent on, which he talked about continuously throughout his campaign, that the American people voted for, is his commitment to ending this war and bringing about peace. That requires bringing interested parties to the table to conduct these negotiations. Of course, both...
Look, and for many normies out there, what a lot of people don't realize is they're watching Donald Trump go from an anti-war, no new wars. You heard that over and over again, no new wars. And now you're watching Donald Trump allow, I know we're not a part of it, technically, we're not really doing anything, we're just watching things unfold. It feels very similar. When during the Ukraine war at the beginning, the Biden administration, the whole point of many of our politicians, they were speaking on Fox News saying, we're not in this war. We're just helping them out. We're not in this war. We're just helping them out. You think Russia is looking at what's going on in Ukraine and thinking, yeah, America's not doing anything. Neither side eats bacon, not my war. I like that meme. Exactly. Neither side eats bacon. They're not American. Get out. I don't care. I don't care. The same rhetoric is coming from Republicans today that Democrats used during the Ukraine war. That we're not a part of it. We're just watching it. It's all Israel. Or like during Democrats' regime, it's all Ukrainians. We're just helping them out. Like Lindsey Graham's just helping them out. And my stance has always been, if Lindsey Graham is for something, I always take a pause. Because I don't believe that guy. That guy likes a lot of war, and he likes a lot of people to die. And so you have a lot of normies in today's world watching Donald Trump pull us into a war. The rhetoric is ramping up. It went from Israel just hitting a few nuclear sites to all of a sudden, last night we talked about Netanyahu saying that if we don't take out Iran now, New York is next. New York is going to be next. If we don't take out Iran tomorrow, New York is going to be next. Netanyahu said that. And then they posted a video about saying how if you don't take out Iran now, you're going to have to defend the shores of America on X. Israel has been pumping this information. They've been pumping their war drum. Some of the biggest misinformation coming from the Trump administration has been from the Israel news websites. Now, I don't trust a lot of them because they're going to be doing their best to pull us in as much as possible, because as much as Israel can defend itself, they need our help. They need our help. And so I think you're going to watch some of the tone and the rhetoric and some of the information that comes out about this war slowly start to change and ramp up a little bit more. That's just my opinion. Now, I could be completely wrong. We could just be watching. We could just be showing a sign of force and nothing could happen. This trade deal that could be like 5D chess. Donald Trump could be signing a trade deal in no time with Iran or that nuclear deal. I don't think that's going to happen. No one's going to sign something as they're being bombed, but especially a regime like that. Now, the weirdest thing for me, Disco Post says it's very simple. Either Ayatollahs stop promoting terror or they have to go. China, Middle East, etc. All agree. We'll see, man. We'll see. A lot of their terror, they're worried about being hit. My biggest thing too is like, if we're so concerned about Iran having a nuclear bomb, why aren't we so concerned about North Korea? They seem psychotic. They seem crazy. They seem like a crazy regime. Yeah, they're not funding terror because they're so broke, but they're definitely sending soldiers to Ukraine. That's been reported. Mike Huckabee sends Donald Trump, which was shared, this message on iMessage. If you send me a message like this on iMessage, I'm going to lose my mind. Do not. This is like when somebody gets a text message like this that's this long, my first thought is, can I summarize this with AI? Don't make me read this much. Please don't make me. Nobody is important enough in my life to send me a message this long. Gabbard said, this isn't our fight. Either we leave it alone or we go full empire and take it all. We're gonna go full empire. We're gonna take it all. We'll see what happens, though. We're not very good with regime changes, so we'll see what actually happens. Wilson says, propaganda is running wild right now, trying to play as much golf as possible and not giving it too much attention. I think that's wise. I think propaganda is so high right now that everybody is susceptible to it because you have to have a very serious opinion when it comes to this war. You either have to be like, we're for whatever Israel's doing or we're against whatever Israel's doing. And whenever it's like that black and white, there's nothing about war that's black and white. It just isn't. It just isn't. You know, like this idea that like there's good guys and bad guys. It's like such a childlike view of war. Disco Plus says it's all China. China's in big trouble economically. Trump and Xi and Putin are restructuring globalism. Interesting. Mike Huckabee sends this message to Donald Trump this morning saying this, Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, Pennsylvania to be the most consequential president. And we need some like epic music. We need some like, Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, Pennsylvania as the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. The decision on your shoulders I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir, like Mark Levin and Lindsey Graham. But there are only one voice that matters. Derek O'Shea. His voice. Who is his voice? I am your appointed servant. What? I am your appointed servant in the land and available for you, but I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts. At the same time, listen to me. I'm Mike Huckabee. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours. Not since Truman in 1945. Oh. Is that a little, are we alluding to the nuclear bomb? Is that what we're doing? Not since Truman in 1945. I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven. And that I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else. You send me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and to make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. Mike Huckabee sending this message to Trump. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. What? Who is in charge here? Who is in charge here? God has been orchestrating this since day one. God wants to take out the Ayatollahs. He loves going to war. Cringe much? It's so bad. Our flag will not come down. You do not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It's my honor to serve you, Mike Huckabee. Also, can you put in a good word at Fox News? I would like my job back. This place sucks, man. This is the longest message and the most vague message. And I do like the little, this is his point. Not since Truman in 1945. They want nuclear bombs dropped on Iran so bad. They want it. God, could you imagine? Even if you're for this regime change, even if you're for this sort of thing, some of these people get so excited sexually about the idea of a bomb being dropped, a nuclear bomb being dropped on Iran. You will watch places like Fox News erupting and like, cheers. Oh, thank God. Now we'll have some eyes on Fox News because we have the exclusive footage. Thank God. Thank God we're finally dropping a nuclear bomb. If we drop a nuclear bomb, shit. I'm just... I don't know what your thoughts are on this. Again, do I have a staunch opinion when it comes to this sort of thing? I don't want to be in war. I don't want to be in war. I want the economy to be better. I want to be able to buy a home. I want kids that are addicted to fentanyl, people I work with. Lots of people I work with addicted to fentanyl because there are these pills that are $1 to buy and that will ruin your entire life. I want fentanyl to stop. I want the drug addicts on the street to get help. I want the psychopaths on the street to get help. I want our country better. I want to walk into a city where I feel safe. Do I care about this war? No, not really. Oh, then you say, oh, Derek, okay. But if we don't take out Iran, you're not going to feel safe in the city streets. Maybe you're right. But at the moment right now, I feel like we have bigger problems. Just a thought. And then let's all remember if Tulsi Gabbard is fired in due time, because I just don't see her not saying anything. She's so anti-war that she's going to speak up or they're going to silence her. We'll see what actually happens. But if this is it for Tulsi Gabbard, we will remember her with this clip.
Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president. But I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Well, remember, my hope at the end of the day is that Trump listens to at least some sort of voices who are saying, don't get involved, get out. So you have some kind of 50-50, and it's not just voices like Mark Levin. Coming out against Tucker Carlson yesterday from Donald Trump was totally cringe. And there's no way he knew the full context of what actually happened between Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon. There's no way. There's no way. It had to be somebody just said, he's talking crap about you, Donald Trump. What are your thoughts on that? There's no way he knew the full context. But I digress. So what are your thoughts? Should we go to war with Iran? Should we help out? Should we just, if we're already in it, let's just go to town? I love this view too. When those of us that don't have any skin in the game, you know, those of us that aren't in the military, there either are some people that are too old to join the military. They're like, let's just go to town, do whatever you need to do. But this idea that this is the same as Iraq, you're nuts. This is 90 million people. And yeah, there might be some rumblings of people groups that are excited about regime change, but maybe there's not. Maybe you've been lied to. Now, I can't speak for all Iranian people. I know a lot of them hate the Ayatollahs and stuff like that, but things might be different. They have a lot more money. They've been storing up. China's been buying their cheap oil. And China, there's reports right now that China is sending military airplanes to Iran. I don't know how true that is. Again, the fog of war. I'm not going to tell you facts that I have no idea if they're facts. So much of this just seems so... And we're all just trying to figure it out. Disco Puss says, I don't know if Tulsi gets tossed. Her career is finished unless she starts a moderate liberal party versus progressive Dems commies. Maybe, man. I don't think her career is finished. Just because you come out against the administration, I don't like this sentiment. I don't like this sentiment. Like, if you come out against the administration or you have a different point of view in the administration, your career is finished, or like you should be dismissed. That's nuts. That is like authoritarian crap. You don't want to be if you work for a company and everybody that has a different point of view gets fired, that company's going to suck. And you don't want that for American politics. You don't want that for any sort of leadership position ever. I also don't like this too. There's like this sentiment too online of like, if you disagree with anything Trump does, that means you're not riding with Trump or something. I voted for Trump every single time. If I disagree with Trump, it's because there's something I don't like that he's doing. It doesn't mean that I think there's a better option than him out there. You think I was going to vote for Kamala Harris over Trump? Are you nuts? Jacobet said, order of concern, border with Mexico, border with Canada, China, maybe India, then the Middle East. Clive says, U.S. only loses wars. We don't have really a good track record in the last few years. We don't. Our track record is not the best. And many will say the reason our track record isn't good is because we don't go full in or something. We don't go full in on these wars. We go half-ass. And if we actually go full in, we would win some of these wars. Maybe. But you be the judge. Peace in the Middle East, guys and girls. Admit you wanted Mamala Derek. Nobody wanted a Kamala Harris presidency as much as me. Not you, not nobody. Could you imagine if Kamala Harris was president right now? Now, that would be interesting. If Kamala Harris was president right now and we're heading to war with Iran, or we're flirting with it, or we're just helping out by it's like me giving my neighbor a gun and saying, go shoot that person. You're not allowed to do that. because you're complicit. You're a part of it. Can you imagine if Kamala Harris was president? Do you think the people on Fox News or some of these podcasters would have a different opinion on this whole matter? You think things would be different? Would we just trust Israel? Or would we be like, don't let Kamala Harris get into war? Just curious. Just curious. Just curious. And we're all figuring this out together, guys. Let's, I might change my opinion tonight. I'm going to change my opinion on this whole war tonight. I'm going to call Lindsey Graham, my senator. I'm going to call Lindsey Graham, my best friend. We're going to have a little chat. We're going to talk about why he thinks we need to go to war. And if I get twinks out of the deal as much as he gets twinks, I'm for this war. Because daddy needs some Twinkies. I don't hear Kamala commenting on these topics. No, you would never hear that. She'd go, Iran is a country, and countries have borders. And with borders, there comes security. And there's no security with Iran. So... Could you imagine Kamala Harris during war? Actually, I think we either would have the cringe Kamala Harris or we would have Officer Harris, who would just be like, take them out, kill everyone. And we'd be like, oh my God, she's nuts. Jacobet said Kamala would have met with Putin, outdrank him, and forged a peace deal for Ukraine. Yeah. Do you think Kamala Harris can handle her vodka? I know she's a wino. Disco says this is all going over faster than you think. Very, very, very clean. Watch. We'll see. I'm hopeful, man. I'm hopeful. I'm not totally black pilled on this whole thing. You're not gonna find me black pilled. There's always hope. There's always hope. If not, we'll laugh at this. We'll cry. We'll come together as a human beings, and we'll hate our lives together. Never seen her sober. Me neither. All right, guys, I'm going to work. Have a great day. I'll see you guys live later tonight, and we're going to have some fun videos tonight. We're going to have some fun freaking videos, so come hang out. No, I'm not going to pay for